We're continuing our coverage of late President Jimmy Carter by hearing from people in our area who knew him well. Jim Heyer met Carter and his wife back in 1998 at one of the Carter Winter Weekends, a fundraiser by the Carter Center. That kicked off a decades-long friendship that even included visits to Carter's hometown of Plains, Georgia.
Everyone was encouraging me, oh, you got to go to Plains, you got to go to Plains. And so finally I had the opportunity to do that. And as I've told friends, it isn't really until you go to Plains that you really get to understand Jimmy Carter.
But Heyer says he got to know the former president out here in the Northwest too, including that trip right there to Multnomah Falls back in 2018. Now, another person who got to know President Carter pretty well is Ken Hawkins. He's a retired photojournalist who covered the president starting way before his days in the White House. Hawkins shared some of his favorite pictures and stories going all the way back to Carter's improbable campaign for Georgia governor in 1970.
One of my assignments was to go to a gubernatorial debate between a very well-heeled Republican named Hal Suit. He was also in broadcast in Atlanta, so everybody knew him. And this peanut farmer from South Georgia, who nobody knew, named Jimmy Carter. It was a very, very grassroots campaign. Obviously, from South Georgia, you don't have a lot of big money backers down there. Carter was elected governor. I was totally gobsmacked, as I was when he was elected president. A lot of people referred to it as the birth of the New South when he was inaugurated. He took over as governor from the segregationist Lester Maddox, and I think that was one of his primary goals in running for politics, was to bring the races together. When he began his run for president, he said, "Ken, this is Jimmy Carter, and I'd like for you to come to a little event next week. I'm going to make an announcement." We showed up at the Atlanta Civic Center, and he announced for president. I speak for a number of us in the media that nobody thought that he would have a chance at all. This was the most grassroots of grassroots campaigns. When he started out, I remember thinking that this campaign is not going to work because he doesn't have the money, and he doesn't have the time, and he doesn't have the campaign staff. He and Rosalind, his wife, would travel separately on many occasions and try and hit as many cities, towns, street corners as they could during the day, and then usually they'd try to get back together at night. Carter was all business. It was very rare that you would have personal moments with him. Other than every time we'd go back to Plains, we would play softball. And Jimmy's team was made up of some staff, but mainly ringers from the Secret Service who were off duty. We were playing softball one night in Plains, and President Carter is pitching. And he knew that I was a terrible player. The third ball that he threw me, I hit. I also hit him in the shoulder with it. Carter was not one of those fellows that went off in a corner and hid. And here we've got a farmer coming up and making a very pointed point, poking the president in the chest. The man has done so much since leaving the presidency. Many presidents go out and play golf or go off on speaking trips. He's eradicating diseases. He is truly a humanitarian.
And if you want to see even more, you're in luck, because tonight on our streaming app, KGW+, we'll be airing a special report on the life and legacy of former President Jimmy Carter. It starts at 8 o'clock. Stay with us. We're back right after this.